Just I'm like, look, yeah, we're not playing well. I mean, I don't need this answer that you get that's just the same answer each week from him. I just it's ridiculous. But there's more to get to today besides that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's all on the table, and I believe that he was asked about the effort and all that. I'm not really questioning the effort of the team. I mean,
Did you watch the fourth quarter?
I did watch the fourth quarter. It's bad. They're just a bad team. I think at the end of the day, they're just a really awful, bad team. And he's not a good head coach. The guy I feel sorry for, and people that have listened to this show long enough may be surprised by this. I feel sorry for Jeffrey Simmons because he's actually played well. But nobody, I mean, Cam Ward's a rookie. He's trying. And look, I appreciated his honesty. I mean, he's a meme now saying we ass and all that stuff.
Language.
But I'll cuss if I want to. Not putting up with rules today there, JoJo. So you can just take
Don't
that.
you dare. Don't you dare. No, I get it. I mean, and look, that's what happens when you lose games. And the fact that it's worse indirectly when Jackson Dart leads the Giants to victory over a very good Chargers team. You go back to, when the Giants were offering the world for Cam Ward, you play that game all day and it'll drive you crazy. That's what that game does to you. But fact is, you're 0-4. You're the worst team in football. It's the worst team I've ever seen in Nashville. It's worse than the 14 team. It's worse than the 15 team. It's worse than the 2004 Titans team. And I don't see it getting better anytime. I'm serious. They have a legitimate shot at going 0-17. That's how bad they are. They're not competitive in any area outside of a Jeffrey Simmons. That's it. They're not competitive anywhere. If they go 0-17, epically bad.
Yeah. And look, there's going to be a ton of changes. So that leads us into our question of the day, which I think is a pretty easy one. It's presented by Aries Tactical, your safety, your skill, your Aries Tactical. Check them out at ariestactical.com.
It is. We want to know from you guys, 615-737-1025. Who is to blame for all of this? We put the question out yesterday on X, and people lost their mind. Who is to blame for all of this? This is a therapy session till 3 o'clock today. We want to know who you think is to blame for all this, because I think there are many people here to blame. We want to hear from you. You guys are fantastic. You always let us know what's going on, the real world talk. Let us know who is to blame for all of this.
I think it's pretty easy. 615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. I mean, Amy Adams drunk. I think that's going to be the overwhelming answer by most of our listeners.
See, I'm giving you John Robinson and Rand Carthon because their drafts were so god-awful bad that's killing the football team right now. I mean, it's killing the football team right now. Their drafts were so awful. 20, 21, 22, and 23. The drafts were so bad, it's killing this football team right now.
First one that comes in is Amy. Yeah, but doesn't she share blame in that? Because I think some of the moves that were made, especially you look at Robinson, I mean, I'm going to just say this until I can't say anything anymore. I don't think the A.J. Brown trade is all on him.
No.
He takes it. He owns it. He's saying if he had a do-over, a mulligan, he would certainly take it. But I think that was based on, directives.
No, and I agree. But, past that, you had drafts, which were awful. And look at what is happening now. I mean, you can't.
Sure.
The 25 draft.
I'm not exonerating him.
I know. The 25 draft is still out on 24 a little bit. But the 25, you can't. Those guys can't come and be all pros right away. We know this. But you build the foundationals of the 20, 21, 22, 23. Just terrible. And you look at the product on the field and you try to go to free agency. Ridley's terrible. Snead's terrible. The guys he picked, it's gone as bad as it could possibly go for this football team. And I just think a lot of blame needs to be at Robinson and Rand Carthon. I mean, they're the ones that ultimately drafted these players, and they're terrible.
You're not wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I think Amy, everything's going to come back on her. because that's what everybody on our text line is saying it. Josh from White House. This is an easy question. Amy F. and Adams.
But I get it. I get it because she's the owner, and I get the AJ Brown stuff. But she didn't draft. She didn't draft these players.
No.
Now she put the guys in the position, the GMs,
bingo,
to do that. I get that. But they all came with credentials. I mean, hell, Rand had those evidently good credentials from the 49ers. Robinson turned out some the 16 draft and 19 draft weren't bad. But then
that's my thing. Did John Robinson just all of a sudden forget how to be a good general manager? Do I think he got complacent? Yes.
No, I don't.
I do. I think he got all right, complacent's the wrong word. Comfortable. Do I think he got comfortable? Yes.
I don't know. I think he's made some bad choices, and that's it. The Caleb Farley in 21 was bad.
But how much of that, and we'll never know. Like we'll never know the true answers, but how much of that is just him and his decision, or him listening to other people?
You're the GM.
I agree.
Doesn't stop with you, right? I mean, that's the
I
one.
agree.
Right? You go in, you make all the suggestions. Ultimately, you have to pick those. Now, he gets credit for Byard, for Derrick Henry. I thought Jack Conklin was great. I thought he pulled the 1 for 8 pick in 2016 was good. 19, AJ Brown, Simmons, Amani Hooker, Nate Davis was okay when he was here. I mean, there are some good things, but then after that, it just got bad. And you see teams around the league who the good teams have built through the draft. This football team has not.
What's
bad?
You know what's interesting, Joe, is that there's a really good chance that he will have drafted 2 Hall of Famers. Because I think Derrick Henry is a lock, and I think Kevin Byard's making a case.
Playing had 2 interceptions yesterday.
I mean, he's got 30 in his career, and I was looking at some comparable. Safety's a hard position to gauge,
right?
Because they just do DB. But I was looking at some comparable numbers. He's close. He's very close.
Yeah, I mean, so there were some good things, but now you look at the team at 25, and it's bad up and down the board. And I heard Robbie and Rex this morning, and I agree with them. If I'm Jeffrey Simmons, I'm like, hey, I love you guys, but I'd like to win. And let's do this. Let's figure something out that's good for you and for me, and let's do this. And I don't begrudge a guy who wants to go win. Do you want to be part of this nonsense? No, go win.
I do wonder when the trades start, because I mean, you have to trade Jeffrey Simmons whether he wants it or not. I mean, you're calling Dallas, you're calling New England, you're calling San Francisco. I mean, you're calling these teams that need defensive line help. And yes, I think you hold out the best you can to get a first round pick, but ultimately you get what you can get, the best that you can get for somebody like Simmons.
Well, that's the thing. If you call me and I'm team B, you're team A, and I know you want to get rid of a guy on team A, and I know you really want to get rid of him, I'm like, all right, I'll give you a 3rd rounder. No. Because I know you want to get rid of him.
You don't take anything less than a second.
No, I know that, but I'm gonna barter you, and I'm not gonna give you a 1 because I know you want to get rid of him. Well, so I've got the power on my side. I don't have to take your guy.
You're right. I want to get rid of him, but I don't have to.
Correct. Yeah.
That's where the Titans have to do this. Like I go back. Let's go back to the AJ thing. I think one of the biggest regrets that John has is not just trading him, but the fact that he didn't wait. Like he kind of jumped the gun. They had time. They had time to figure that out. Now, yes, the draft was there. It was draft night. You could get that year's draft pick, but you could have still gotten something later on if you got to the point where you realize, okay, this is done. This isn't going to happen. And I think they rushed it. But I think with Simmons, you definitely, you start listening, you start making phone calls if you're Borgonzi, and you get, I mean, if somebody, like, I think ideally, and most people tell me that I'm crazy for this, ideally I get a 1st this year and a 3rd next year.
For Simmons?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you'd love to get, but it's not.
It's asking a lot.
It is. And Jonathan on the text line's got a great question. I don't know the answer to this. Where does Chad Brinker fit in all this? I don't know what he does.
I don't know if he even knows that.
But I do know who the draft. I can look up the drafts from 20 to 24 and like, yeah, these aren't good. What's going on right now? And So I don't know where Brinker fits in. I mean, did he have a hand in the 24 draft? Was Borgonzi responsible for 25? I don't know.
Well, so supposedly Borgonzi is responsible for the 25. And then what I have gathered is anything involved with Rand Carthon, Chad has been like, oh, nope, that was Rand. That wasn't me.
Typical, right?
Yeah. Which, I mean, in some ways, I don't blame him for doing that.
No, and I understand that, but that's the thing is that you drafted. I mean, we could blanketly blame Amy Adams, and I think she's culpable in a lot of it because she's the owner and all that. But the fact is, you had the GMs pull the plug on these guys and drafted these guys who are not good. So do you dig deeper and blame the scouts who fought for these guys and went to the GM? I mean, so now you go deeper and deeper into figuring out, all right, there's more at play here, but ultimately it's the general managers to blame. And it's just God, it's just bad. I mean, the reaction last night, Chase, and you were part of this. You were seeing this on X last night. I mean, people are mad. I mean, they're legitimately mad about how bad this football team is playing and how bad this football team has become.
Oh, and look, they should be. And the worst thing that can possibly happen is people stop caring. Complacency sets in, and everybody's just like, whatever, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, right.
If that happens, then that's when they really should be worried, especially with the new stadium coming. 615-737-1025. Titans lose to Houston 26-0 shutout in Houston. Paul Kuharsky reported he doesn't think anything is imminent when it comes to a coaching change. I just heard Adam Schefter on Pat McAfee pretty much say the same thing as well, that they don't want to do it right now. But what do you think? Who do you blame for all of this? Is it solely on Amy Adams Strunk? 615-737-1025. DJ will get to your call. Coming up next, Chase and Big Joe on this Monday, 1025 The Game.
So this team showed you a lot of fight.
Yeah.
Did this team show you fight today?
Oh yeah, they fought. I mean, this is I don't know what. Not playing well and not fighting are two different things. We didn't play well enough, but I don't think I'd question the way those guys went and played the game. I mean, they fought their tails off for the entirety of the game. So you guys can make whatever conjecture you want, but I don't see any effort issues in terms of how they're playing the game. We're not playing it well enough. That's certainly part of it. But they went out and played hard today. I don't have any qualms about how they came out and played.
That was Brian Callahan after the 26-0 loss to Houston yesterday. Chasing Big Joe here on 102.5 The Game. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier with us as well. Do you buy that not playing well in the effort, those are two different things?
I do not buy that. I didn't. The fourth quarter, the effort was gone. All right. I didn't see much before all that happened, but I don't think, no, I don't know if he knows what he's saying. He's saying a lot of nothing right now, and it doesn't make sense because he knows his team's bad. He knows he can't get him motivated. He knows he's not the right coach for this team. It's just bad from top to bottom.
Yeah, no, sure. I mean, but I think there are some guys that fought to the very end. I think there are some guys that gave up. And then I think there are some guys that just quite frankly aren't good. And it doesn't matter.
Right. You're right.
It doesn't matter. I mean, at the end of the day, there are some guys that, like, good on you. You made it. You're in the NFL. You know, cherish that. You're just not good. And I think a majority of this Titans team can say that. But, you know, I watched Jeffrey Simmons, his post game. I watched Cam Ward, and we'll play that clip that's going everywhere in just a second. And you can just see they are legitimately mad, upset, confused, can't figure it out. I mean, and look, you're asking a rookie to deal with all this, which is part of it. I'm not making an excuse for him, but it's just like they at the end of the day, I mean, I took away from Cam Ward's press conference. I watched the whole thing. He wasn't throwing the coach under the bus, but I could kind of get the sense of he knows it's not working.
Yeah, I know. And people are reacting exactly how they should. Titans fans are mad, which is a good thing.
This was Dr. Crane, if we can. This was Cam Ward and the comment that has made its rounds on social media.
What's not going right for this offense where you guys just can't get on track?
Everything from interception to a penalty to an incompletion by me, a bad ball, and then once we pass the 50, we just not continuing the drive. So, I mean, we keeping the buck right now. We 0-4. We have this point. We got nothing to lose. We dropped a quarter of our games, and we've yet to do anything. So, we have to lock in, especially myself on the offensive line, from the defensive line, from the special teams to all three faces. We have to play together. We have not played together this year yet, and that's just something that we want to preach about it every day. Every day we got to do better. And we're doing that, but it has to show up on Sundays. It hasn't showed up yet, but it got to show up next week.
Look, I appreciate the honesty. I think that he's the quarterback. I don't care if he's a rookie. I don't care if he's played 4 games or 40. He got asked an honest question, and he gave an honest answer, and I don't have a problem with it.
No, and he's played. I mean, his play's been terrible too, but he's playing to the level of the guys around him. And look, it's a rookie. We did not expect a rookie to come in here and say, go 14-3 and get him to the Super Bowl. It just doesn't happen that way. You learn by fire. And my God, is he going through the fire right now?
Oh, I mean, he totally is. But that is leadership in my mind. I mean, he basically is like, we got to get our bleep together. And they do. And I just don't know if they're capable of doing that at this point. 615-737-1025. Let's go to your phones. A lot of you want to weigh in. Open lines today, open texts. Let's all vent and feel better together. DJ, you'll lead us off on the Titans. What you got?
Good afternoon, guys. You probably don't have enough time for everything I want to say, but real quick, Joe, I've been telling people for 10 years, Kennesaw State's a sleeping giant. I think you saw first it's a great city, 30 minutes from a big city,
right?
In a recruiting hotbed. It kind of feels like what MTSU should have been in '98 when we moved up. But I still think we should never lose to that team right now. But I feel like in 4 or 5 years they're going to be huge factor in football.
Well, plus they
Going
got
to the title.
they have 48,000 students at that school too.
Yeah,
But
the
anyway,
biggest school in the state of Georgia. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So, y'all can take this with a grain of salt, but the owner signed off on paying A.J. Brown. J-Rob didn't think he was worth the money. He might have been right, but I always feel like you overpay for the players that you draft to keep them on your team. So he made a mistake there. If I'm not mistaken, we're going to have one of the highest salary cap numbers as far as the money available. Is that correct?
I think that's right. Yeah, they're pretty good on cap space right now.
You know, when Callahan was hired 2 years ago, I would think 75% of us thought, okay, this is not a bad hire. But after 2 years, it's obvious he's not ready. And I don't know who anointed Daddy Callahan the guru of offensive line. He's been in it 2 years, and they suck.
right.
You know, so, you know, he was a terrible coach at Nebraska. He was a terrible coach for the Raiders. What made him such a good offensive line coach? I'll never know. So let's get them two clowns out of here. We hire a coach that our GM, who I feel like has potential. He came from a great organization. We got salary cap money. And, I mean, we've got to make a change. And, you know, you played the clip about Callahan thought this team had fight in him. And the fight that I'm going to talk about might not be what he's talking about, but when Taylor Lewan was on this team, if Marcus Mariota would have got hit in the face like Cam Ward did the other day or yesterday, he would have had a 15-yard penalty because he would have beat the crap out of whoever hit
You're right.
Mariota in the face.
Right.
And
Yeah.
nothing happened. Jeffrey Simmons was pointing, but nobody came up and took care of, you know, it's kind of a hockey term. You take care of it. And so to me, we just have a bunch of guys getting paychecks, and that needs to change. The current head coach is not going to do it. You can't blame the owner for all this. She writes the checks, but she's hiring people to do their jobs, and they're not doing their jobs. So now, if she doesn't make the change and fire people, then yeah, you blame her. But right now, she needs to cut the cord. We need to start fresh, and I think that's our only option. Thanks, guys.
Good call.
Thanks, DJ. Where I'll push back a little bit is she's the one hiring people, so she's making bad hires. So that is her fault. Now, maybe some things have changed. We've seen her kind of stay away and out of the spotlight. She's letting Brinker, you know, be the football guy and Bert Nihill be the business guy. But, you know, eventually you got to make the right hires. And, you know, with Robinson and Vrabel, that was the right hire for a while.
Wow.
And then
it is. You're right. Yeah.
And then, you know, I still stand by, and I'm going to keep bringing this up because they've won. What did we add up the other day? Like 3 games since this, that you fire Robinson in the middle of the season with a winning record and you're leading the division. It changed the whole course of the organization.
It does. And we got loaded lines, man. This is great. Yep. People want to vent. We're here to 3 o'clock to listen to you today. We're all in this together.
Yep. Josh, you're up next. What's up?
How can we I just completely disagree with the last guy. How can we not put the blame on Amy? I mean, at some point she's hired how many GMs, how many head coaches? We've all had the same outcome. We've been consistently bad since they got it. I think people have let the 19, 20, and 21 season, you know, kind of wash away what happened before that. We've been consistently bad this whole time. So at some point, we have to look at the top because it starts at the top down. We've had how many Heisman trophies? Jake Lochner, Vince Young, Marcus Mariota. All these guys didn't just come from college. Great Heisman trophies and then come to Tennessee Titans and all of a sudden can't produce. We got to look at that. What's going on with who she's bringing in? Why can't they train? You know what I'm saying? Why can't we train players? I don't understand that. We are not in the Titans. Is like as soon as we get a draft pick, I just assume they're going to be a bust before I ever assume they're going to be good.
Sorry, man.
I just know the Titans can't. I know they can't produce players. They can't train players. It's like it's just a revolving door. And if you look at the players, honest to God, they don't want to be there. They're just there to collect the check, man. Callahan is completely. I think he lost the team last year, to be truthful with you. But this year, I mean, it's just these guys don't care anything about what he has to say. And then he goes in there and has the audacity to say these guys played tough and he didn't see anything wrong. You don't see nothing wrong with a 0-26 loss. That's crazy. And
preach, baby, preach.
At least our rookie quarterback has enough decency to come in and call it like it is, how we're playing. Yeah. I mean, I was just baffled that he can come out every year, every week, and then he comes out. If I hear this, we practice this all off season. We preach this all. What did you preach all off season? Because this is the most penalized team in the NFL. So what did you teach? You clearly didn't preach anything. They clearly weren't listening to you. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? At some point, and I understand the whole thing. We don't want to look dysfunctional, by firing the head coach during the middle of the season. But what do we look like now? How worse can it get than not? We can't even score points. So, I mean, at this point, we can't go anywhere but up. So let them go. What are we keeping them around for, to save face so the Titans don't look like they're not good? They're the lasting stock of the NFL. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's I say clear house now. We can get a coach in, and that way we got more than half a season to see how he does. If he's not what he is, then we know what to do on the off season. But you bringing another coach in the off season after we let this guy destroy the fan base the whole year. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even wanting to watch a Titans game anymore. It's like it's. I'm sorry, man. I'm getting a little upset, man.
You're good.
You know,
You're good.
This stuff ruins my whole week, man. I can't lie to you.
I feel it. We got to run on that. Thanks for the call, Josh. Appreciate the passion. 615-737-1025. We have loaded lines right now. We'll come back. We will run through these. Your thoughts on the Titans, your area, your time to vent. 615-737-1025. Chase and Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, 1025 The Game.
Why isn't this thing getting any better?
Because we're playing bad football. Simple. We're not playing good football right now. And I'm tired of hearing the same thing coming in the locker room. I mean, and I'm tired of saying it. We got to play better. I'm tired of saying that. It's like, this is the NFL. They wanted more than us. They played like they wanted more than us. And we're not playing good football right now.
That was Jeffrey Simmons yesterday after the 26-0 loss to the Houston Texans. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game on this Monday. Taking your calls and your text, 615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Tim, let's go back to the phones. Tim, you're up next.
Hey, guys. When they hired Callahan, he was supposed to be a quarterback guru. All right, from the time he started with Levis to Levis at the end of the year, Levis got worse. Cam this year, the only thing Cam is what Cam is right now is because of Cam. It ain't because of Callahan.
Yeah.
I don't think Cam's doing a bad job. I just don't think Cam's getting he don't know who to answer to, who to talk to. I think that's kind of obvious. He got too many people in his ear. The other thing is we're going to make a change. Don't we have Jim Schwartz on staff?
No.
Nope. Do not.
No, he's
Williams?
no.
Didn't they hire Greg Williams?
No, he's at Tennessee State. He's a defensive coordinator. You got one ex-head coach. That's Mike McCoy. Well, Bill Callahan, obviously, but Mike McCoy's the one everybody keeps talking about. If a change is made, you obviously want to go to a guy who's got experience with a head coach, and it's Mike McCoy, who did okay with the Chargers. Wasn't great, but at least he's been in that seat.
Well, he can't do no worse than what we got right now.
That's right. Thanks. Go ahead.
I mean, Ray Charles could see that.
Oh,
there it is.
Hello.
Thanks for the call, Tim.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Tim.
Oh, man. Couple of texts and we'll get to more calls. Dylan says, I think the worst thing that could happen is Mike Vrabel leading the Patriots to the AFC Championship.
No,
can you imagine?
Worst thing is going 0-17 and keep losing.
Yeah,
we don't care about Vrabel anymore. I mean, I get it, but now you've got what you got on your hands here in Nashville, and it's terrible. And obviously, people care because they're calling in left and right, which is great.
Yes, let's keep it going. Kenny the mailman. Kenny, what's up?
Hello, friends. I've been practicing this call, Joe. I've been doing my mental reps. At the end of this call, I want you to say Kenny the mailman is relentless and resilient.
Done.
Remember, don't forget to say that. Now, Chase, I know you'll answer this. I hope you will. There's a lot of shows in this market, a lot of TV shows that cover it, but they will not answer this Titan question for me. Will you try to answer it?
I'll try.
Okay. What are the current standings for the Titan team activities? Are the Silver Snakes ahead of the Blue Hens? And does the game results count as much as ping pong and team hopscotch?
Team hopscotch. Oh my gosh.
I think I don't even remember the teams, but I'll say that team I don't know, they all suck.
Team Pooh Bear won this summer, and they got a pool day. So it was a lot of fun.
Laughing, but they spent time on this instead of really digging down into the nuts and bolts of football.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. I hate saying this, but my fellow Titans fans, they're more frustrated than Billy Graham at the Playboy Mansion.
Hello, Kenny. How dare you, Kenny? We talked all summer. Remember, I went on that rant, almost had a heart attack about you have limited amount of time with everybody. Stop playing games at camp.
I will admit I didn't think it was a big deal. I was like, they're working on stuff they need to be working on and doing whatever, and I don't care, whatever. It doesn't matter. I was wrong. You were right. I mean, the fact that I watched this team in game one and was like, we spent too much time on jumping jacks,
right?
Catching the damn football.
Yeah, so. And I wish I was wrong, but I know the time is limited with these guys in the summer. You don't 7 days a week, 24 hours. You don't have that time. And the fact you spent your practice time on, like Kenny said, hopscotch and slap ass, that's not going to win games for you. It's not.
I got to read this text real quick. He says, it's Randy, just venting. Callahan is a kitty cat. He's only ever actually coached 3 quarterbacks at a time, or upstairs saying yes or no. He's never coached a group of men. We should have known he wasn't the guy when he didn't throw Simmons out of practice, and Simmons did play his ass off yesterday.
Yep.
That's a good one. He didn't say kitty cat, by the way. I had to put that in there. But anyway, let's go to Brian on our phone lines. Brian, what's up?
Man, I tell you what, following up after Kenny the mailman is a tough order, but I'm gonna try to tie it in, and it brings up a great point of this culture thing. When's the last time that a culture won a Super Bowl? I mean, you have
good point.
You look at the Chiefs and the Eagles as being, they're upper echelon teams, gold standard type teams, and they have a great culture. But is it because they were grabbing around during summer camp? No. It's because they take on the persona of their coach, Andy Reid, the ultimate competitor, and Nick Sirianni, just the hard-nosed, in-your-face, going to beat you up kind of guy. Those teams have taken on that persona, not because of pool days and tiddlywinks, but there it is. But here's one other point. And this is actually why I called in, but that got me off on that side of things. But also, you got to think about, besides maybe Sean McVay, what other top-tier coach has been considered a single position guru and been able to make it as a head coach and bring it a full team to the highest level? I mean, and an offensive line coach, think about it right now. The three guys that come to mind when you say an offensive line guru, I'm thinking of Bill Callahan, I'm thinking of Brett Bielema, I'm thinking of Sam Pittman. Not the company I want to keep, boys.
Yeah.
Well, throw Mike Munchak in that as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
Munchak's a Hall of Famer.
No, and I get it. I mean, those are guys players love and they like playing for him. But at the end of the day, you mirror most of the time your head coach. We reference the 85 Bears all the time on this show because that's the most dominant football team that's ever been in a game. And they mirrored Buddy Ryan, they mirrored Ditka, but at the same time, they all fought as one. That culture in there demanded you win. And that's not a culture we see anymore for the Tennessee Titans. It's like it's okay if you lose. That should never be acceptable. Never.
Thanks for the call, Brian. Appreciate you. And look, to answer his question, I mean, there are like Kyle Shanahan, I think is an example. Maybe not last night, but Matt LaFleur has been pretty good. He wasn't last night, but there are examples of it working. Brian Callahan is just not one of those. Michael, what you got on the Titans?
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call. So really, in all honesty, the amount of coverage that the Tennessee Titans deserve to get from us right now is the exact same amount of points they scored yesterday. That's big fat 0. So I'm going to give us a little bit of positivity today, and I am just so pumped up about Vanderbilt right now. These Commodores are so awesome. I forgot what it felt like to watch a football game stress-free until I watched Vanderbilt this year. Because the past, I don't even know how long at this point anymore. Every time I watch the Titans game, it's just like, well, it's either dread, apathy, or stress. And I felt absolutely none of that with Vanderbilt this year. And it's just such a nice, refreshing change of pace. Anchor down, boys. Anchor down.
Thank you, Michael.
Indeed.
It's funny, Michael, who knew Vanderbilt football would save us? I mean, here in town, I mean, it's been something. I mean, they're 5-0, and regardless, they haven't played like the top tier, but that's okay. You only play who's on your schedule. Now it begins. You go to Tuscaloosa on Saturday. You knock off, and by the way, Chase, I'm back on Alabama wins the national championship train as I was at the beginning of the season. You knock off Alabama in that environment.
But they're going to do it with 2 losses.
Yeah, you you win on Saturday. You have the Heisman Trophy candidate, the leading candidate on your team, and Diego Pavia. I'm telling you right now, he's the guy. So we're looking forward to.
Hey,
we'll get to much more of that during the week.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm not being the Chase McCabe radio host when it comes to Vanderbilt this week. I'm being the Chase McCabe that his dad taught him to be a Vandy fan when he was 3 years old this week. They're going to beat Alabama. It's happening. I'm just telling you, 2 years in a row.
I didn't think it beat by double digits. That's all right though, buddy. I like your fire. I like your passion. Your passion is compelling.
Hey, it is. You know what? Let's focus on something positive. I didn't even set Dr. Crane up for this. I'm gonna see if he can just pick up on it. There was something positive that happened in our city Saturday night. Do you know what I'm talking about, Dr. Crane?
I believe so.
We'll say it.
Vandy won.
Nope, that's not where I was. Well, yes, but that's not where I was going. What is your favorite sport to cover?
You're right. Nashville SC got a big win. They secured a playoff spot.
There you go. See,
Well, I'll be damned.
Yep, they're in the playoffs, and they got a chance to move up in the table, right?
They do. They actually could, if they went out, they'd be a top 4 team, which would be nice.
Very nice.
And they're winning a championship. Hopefully, they have an opportunity. To win a championship on Wednesday.
What is all right? I don't have enough time. My head can't take this. Figure out what National SC is doing now.
The MLS Cup, or not the MLS Cup,
US
the
Open Cup.
US Open Cup. Yep. The Lamar Hunt US Open Cup.
Hey, if you can't beat the Chiefs on the field, beat their late owner somehow, some way, right? That we're gonna do. Right. Good job.
Something like that. Let's get more of your calls, more of your texts on the Titans. We're venting. We're feeling better. 615-737-1025. You can react with us. How do you feel? It's also a Macero Monday because Mondays were made for Macero. Big screens, bold flavors, and all the football action from queso to kickoffs. This is how Macero does game night. Macero football Mondays in 12 South. Don't miss a snap. More coming. 102.5 The Game.
Do you think this is a resilient and relentless football team?
I know what you're doing there, Paul. I know what you're doing, and I'm not going to answer that right now.
Well, I mean, those are the themes that we've tried to cover.
Yeah,
This football team, you're 20-some games in.
Yeah.
It's stuck.
I'm just compose myself here before I say something I regret. But yes, I think this team is resilient. I think it is relentless. We haven't played good enough football, and I think those are two very distinct, different things. We have to execute at a better level. We have to coach better. That's really all I can say.
Play better, coach better. We've heard that before. That was Brian Callahan. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Okay, so here's my true thought on this, Joe.
Okay.
I do think in some cases, not playing well enough and being resilient and all of that are two different things. I think this is a truly bad football team. I think he is a truly bad head coach. And I think all of that is coming together, that a bad football team is probably getting a bad message. So I do think there are some resilient guys on this roster. Cam Ward, Tony Pollard, Jeffrey Simmons. You've seen some of that. Hooker. But I also think, as I said earlier, there are just some bad players that they're listening to what they're told to do, and that message is wrong, and so it's all compounding on itself. So he can get all defensive, and good on Paul for standing in there and asking the question, but don't cop this attitude when he's right and you're wrong.
Oh, I agree. The questions need to be asked, and I'm glad somebody asked the questions, because to get up there and to blabber about how hard your team's played and you get beat 26-0, we're not falling for that. You're not selling us a used car here. I mean, this is a problem, and why is he not mad? Does he not get mad? Does he not get cut off in national traffic and lose his mind? I'm just curious. My
thing is, when he said, I'm going to compose myself so I don't say something, I'm like, say it. We've been waiting for 2 years for you to say something like that. My God, that hurt my throat.
I know. And he's like, Paul, know what you're doing. What, asking the question?
By the way,
that what he's doing?
I'm playing hurt today with a sore throat, and oof, that hurt. But I mean, like, you just say it. Tell us how you feel. That's what I want to hear. And he doesn't want to do that.
No, not at all. And so you see that. I mean, you hear him talk. It's like, you're going to run through a wall for these guys. I don't, for him. And fact is, we go back to it. Your record's your record. You're 3-18. And I know you got bad players, but shockingly, some coaches have made it work.
Yeah.
Have made it work. You're not going to get it done and make it work. And it looks even worse now that you did play calling change and you scored no points.
Yeah. How'd that work?
Oh my Lord. I mean, you they did the reaction of Fossil on the sidelines. He's like, oh, he missed again. Just that, like, could it get any worse? What's happening here? And now you go to Arizona, who's had 3 days of rest because they played last Thursday. And that's not a bad football team out there. So you're going to take that same clown show on the road? Are we doing this again? I don't.
Apparently.
Yep.
But we got loaded lines. Let's go back to the phones. Lance in Clarksville, what you got?
Well, I take a while ago that young man said that he didn't blame the owner. Well, what's Vrabel's record right now, and how many games have you won in the last 2 years? So, I've lived up here since 2003. I've turned into a Titan fan. I'm also cursed to be a Cowboy fan. Unfortunately, both of my teams have the worst general managers and owners in the league. Since I've been here, there's only been one good general manager, and I think it was the very end of Floyd's tenure. And Floyd told her who to hire. She hired him, and they did well. And in the middle of your first place, you fire him, and then you get rid of Vrabel. And it's very, very sad that in the South, on the Monday after an NFL football game, the broadcasters on the radio were talking positive about soccer. That's pretty sad. Y'all have a great day.
Oh,
hey, we spent 30 seconds on it.
Right, Lance? Come on, man.
Let's go to T-Mac in Murfreesboro. T-Mac, what you got?
Okay, I got a question. Y'all may not like this comment. Do y'all think, I'm going to ask a question and then I'm going to make a comment. Do y'all think the Titans brass listens to this show and you guys on the radio?
Indirectly, yes.
Yes. I don't think they sit there. Like, I don't think they're sitting there around their radio right now like, oh, winter celebrity birthday's coming up. But I think that they know what is said about them.
We've gotten word back that they listen to all the shows.
Yeah. So think about this. Now, this is a hot take. Y'all not gonna like this.
All right.
But I think y'all are one of the reasons why the Titans are so bad. Here's why I say that. No,
keep going.
Here's why I say that. Earlier, I heard you guys mentioning about trading Jeffrey Simmons. Now, you guys are the same guys that years ago said, "Oh, trade A.J. Brown." Something about his knee. Then you said, you know what? Let Kevin Byard go. Then you said, you know what? Let Derrick Henry go. Every time we have a cornerstone player, y'all talk about trading them for picks. If they let Jeffrey Simmons go, they have to draft another Jeffrey Simmons. Just keep the Jeffrey Simmons you got. Stop letting key pieces go.
Hey, man.
And just build on what you have.
That y'all doesn't work here anymore. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah,
we have never advocated for an A.J. Brown trade or a Derrick Henry trade. We're only talking about trading Jeffrey Simmons because the damn guy deserves to go to a winner because he's playing his ass off. But we don't demand trades for people, not us.
But you still have to draft another Jeffrey Simmons. Just keep who you have. Basically, what I'm saying is, you guys are the influence for the city. If you guys say it and you guys broadcast it, then it becomes a public thing and then it ends up happening. I hang up and I listen.
Right, but T-Mac, here's the problem with that. You say y'all, and you're referencing again somebody that doesn't work here anymore, that is going to throw something against the wall to see if it sticks, and that's not all of us. We have opinions. But I never said trade A.J. Brown.
Never.
Like, we've spent 3 years talking about how it set the franchise back. So, I mean, that's a part of it. But, you know, I hate when, and I appreciate your call and I appreciate your listening. You listen all the time. But I hate when people say y'all and lump everybody together because that's not fair.
At last count, I didn't play yesterday. Chase, I'm pretty sure you didn't play yesterday
I
either,
did not.
Right? So look, if you're not going to be, we all get criticized and you all got to take it at some point. All right. Does it hurt some of them? Sure it does. But you got to learn to bounce that stuff off and go out and do your job. And right now they're not doing the job. If they're over there thinking what Chase and Big Joe are thinking at Titans land, that's on them. That's their fault, not our fault. But we've never advocated for trading these guys. Never.
Dylan and Antioch. Wow, I didn't realize Chase and Big Joe were the GMs of the Titans.
Thank you.
Surprise! It was me all along, Austin. You know.
Yeah,
all right, we will get back to your phones. Stay on the line. 1:30 is when Brian Callahan is scheduled to speak, and we're going to keep taking your calls until that time. So 615-737-1025. We'll get back to that coming up next. Chase and Big Joe, 1025 The Game. Hour number 2, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game on this Monday. 615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHoney.com. We're taking your calls. Brian Callahan's scheduled to speak around 1:30. He's usually late, so who knows when he'll actually go to the podium, but we'll carry that for you live. And then John McClain will join us at 2 o'clock. Let's go back to your phone calls at 737-1025. Neil wants to weigh in on the Titans. Neil, what you got?
Hey guys, I got two things, and I think I may be making y'all think with this.
Okay.
Y'all better? Okay, one, I don't think Cam Ward is that great. I didn't like him coming out of Miami. I don't like his mechanics. And I don't think Brian Callahan can truly coach a quarterback, because the quarterbacks that he coached in the NFL are Peyton Manning, Matt Stafford, Derek Carr, and Joe Burrow. Pretty sure they were good before he got a hold of them. And also, too, I am literally on the way to a custom T-shirt place right now to have a T-shirt made with the Titans logo, and on it it's going to say "We Ass." So I would like to. I swear to God, right now I'm on the way. So I would like to thank Cam Ward for totally making me get a shirt that is going to be the greatest shirt I own. So I love you guys, and Joe, I think you may know my mother-in-law, brother. So Jenny Williams or Jenny Carr.
Oh yeah. Sweet lady.
Yeah, that's my mother. Do what?
Sweet lady.
Yeah, that's my mother-in-law. I'm married to her daughter, Nikki. So.
Well done. Tell her I said hi.
I will do, but no, I think somebody needs to get a hold of his mechanics, because the sidearm throws in the pocket, the running, the throwing off the back foot, that doesn't work in the NFL. This isn't college, man. You got to be able to step into those balls, and not every ball that comes out of your hand has to be 100 miles an hour.
Hey, are you going to get a shirt for your mother-in-law?
You know, Jenny wouldn't wear that, man. No, this is a Neil Jackson special.
I love it.
Like this is a me wearing this shirt, and I would like to thank Cam Ward for the greatest shirt idea of all time.
Well done, man. Well done.
Thanks for the call, Neil. Appreciate it. Let's go to Phil. He has a new coach suggestion. Phil, what you got?
Yeah, I just kind of want to throw it out there. Somebody you can get. You guys were talking about, taking on the persona of your coach and all of that. And I know this guy's out there, but I think we should seriously be looking at like John Gruden to come in. He's available. He's got fire in his belly. He's a great coach, done some great things, with teams kind of where the Titans are at the moment. So I just didn't know what your thoughts were. His name really hasn't come up, but maybe it should.
All right. Thanks for the call, Phil. We brought it up quite a bit on this show.
But do you want this job? Do you want to work for this owner? I mean, aren't there better jobs that'll open up? Do you want to work for Amy Adams? I don't.
Probably, but at the same time, don't you think that he could look at a job like this of like, hey, I'm about to show you how good I really am? Because you made a really good analogy the other day that if you look at his record and his accomplishments, and it's not meant to be a shot, but he's Jeff Fisher with a Super Bowl. He's kind of middle right. Of, now look, Titans fans would sign up whether they want to admit it or not. You go back and look at the years that Jeff had here, you'd sign up for that all day long based on what you've had right now.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly right. But you got to want the job first. And I mean, I don't think people realize how bad this football team is. I mean, it's catastrophically bad. And it's going to take a long time to dig out of this hole. That's why we had the question of who is to blame for all this.
And most people said Amy.
Yeah.
Most people said Amy. Michael and Madison is his text is dreaming up like what I would love to see happen, because I think real life should be wrestling. And he says, how incredible would it be if at 1:30 we heard this? That's your cue though. There it is. And Mike McCarthy walks out to the podium instead of Brian Callahan. Could you imagine Callahan getting up there and starting to speak, and then a wrestling theme hits and another guy walks out and goes, "You're out of here"?
It'd be the greatest sports video of all time. All time.
Like I do kind of wish we lived in a world where we got to witness the coach being fired. Like it literally had like if Steinbrenner was still around when he'd fire Billy Martin in the middle of a press conference.
Yeah, right.
Like how funny would that be? Let's go back to the phone. 615-737-1025. Jacob, you're up.
Yes, sir. How are you doing today?
We're good.
Well, first of all, congratulations on the new GM position.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're excited. We didn't know either, so we're excited about it.
Secondly, so I'm a Kentucky football fan.
I'm sorry.
Titans. Yes, so am I. For the love of God, I wish I'd never. Anyway, so Levis coming out of college, he had a decent O-line. He made some decent plays, got us to a 10-win season. Went to the Titans, and, he didn't get the start, which was fine. But when he finally got the start and he won that huge game and he was throwing 40, 50-yard bombs down the field, and he was actually being a decent quarterback, and then, the rest of the season wasn't all that great. And then Callahan came in, and him and Callahan never got along. First of all, you could see it in Callahan's face. He did not like Levis. But now that we have Ward and we absolutely freaking suck once again, that just goes to show that it's not all Levis's fault. We have a horrible freaking coaching atmosphere. Our owner sucks. Everything about the Titans right now is atrocious. And I honestly believe that Levis and Ward, if Levis wasn't hurt, I honestly believe that Levis and Ward would have had a great QB battle. Both of them are young. Both of them still have futures ahead of them. But I'm sick of the Levis hate from everybody. Ward is apparently not all that freaking good either.
All right, Jacob, let's pause you there for one. Don't go anywhere. Let's pause here. Who made the crappy throw versus the Bears week 1 last year?
Is Levis.
Who made the roll toss to Tajay Spears versus the Jets?
It was Levis. But hey, listen.
I'm telling you, we saw enough of Levis where he was not going to get any better. And I get it that you like him. That's fine. But the interception versus the Colts, I didn't see the guy. Things like that. We knew he was not going to get any better regardless who was here. I think they made the right choice in getting Cam. You had to move on because at some point you realize he's not the guy, and that's okay.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do. But the thing is, you can't just put it all on one person. It's a whole aspect. But now we have a brand new quarterback, and we're having the same freaking issues over and over and over and over. Something has got to change.
I get it.
I get it. Callahan's got to leave. We have got to have a change.
I appreciate the call, Jacob. Yep.
All right,
Thank
y'all
you.
have a good one.
You too. Yeah. Look, the change is coming. It's not if, it's just when. And, whether it's like Schefter was on right before we came on a McAfee show, and he said, they really don't want to do it in season, is what he's hearing. But, so it's not an if, it's a when, that they decide to do it. And what good it's going to do to bring in an interim. I hear what he's saying about Levis. I don't think Levis is a starting NFL quarterback, and I never thought Levis was a starting NFL quarterback. But let me ask this question. What do you think the conversation would be today? All the games, the outcome is the same. They're 0-4, but Levis doesn't opt to get that surgery, and he's on the bench. Do you think that any Titans fans would be calling for him to start?
No, I don't.
I think there'd be some.
Not a lot. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, you got your guy, and so you let your guy crash and burn, and hopefully he learns through the fire and goes on. That's kind of what you hope happens right there. By the way, the Jets and Dolphins play tonight. Both teams are 0-3. I mean, Miami might, if they lose, they might fire their coach tonight.
They might. There's 2 Monday night games tonight, and they both are terrible. Jets and Dolphins, and then Bengals and Broncos.
Right.
So, woof, as people like to say. 615-737-1025. Jack, you've been waiting patiently. Jack, what's up?
The great thing about all this is I get to watch all of my favorite Titans players that weren't any good anymore doing real well other places. the mayor of Murfreesboro reeled in 2 big interceptions as a Bear yesterday that tired out old Julie Menace was running over people left and right last year, and he's had a bobble this year, but I got no doubt he'll be back stronger than ever pretty soon. And that cranky old coach is putting the Patriots back in New England. So evidently they decided to give up Dog so they could be convivial. They could have consensus. How's that working for you?
Not very well. Thanks for the call, Jack.
Good job, Jack. Jack to the point and concise.
Yep. 615-737-1025. Gary, Rick, hang tight. We will get to you coming up next. Continue to take your calls. It's event session on this Monday. Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, 1025 The Game.
What's not going right for this offense where you guys just can't get on track?
Everything from interception to a penalty to an incompletion by me, a bad ball, and then once we pass the 50, we just not continuing the drive. So, I mean, if we keeping the buck right now, we So we 0-4. We have this point. We got nothing to lose. We dropped a quarter of our games, and we've yet to do anything. So we have to lock in, especially myself on the offensive line, from the defensive line, from the special teams to all three faces. We have to play together. We have not played together this year yet, and that's just something that we want to preach about it every day. Every day we got to do better, and we're doing that. But it has to show up on Sundays. It hasn't showed up yet, but it got to show up next week.
That was Cam Ward yesterday. A clip that has gone viral. Chasing Big Joe 102.5 the game. And what I appreciate about that is you could hear at the beginning he's trying to be careful in how he answers the question. And then basically he's like, no, I'm going to tell the truth. And I like that. I like the honesty. I have no problem with the honesty and what he had there.
I agree. Let it go. I mean, get it out there. Say what we're all thinking, right? Why not?
Gary wants to weigh in on the Titans. 615-737-1025. What's up, Gary?
I'm 67, grew up in Minnesota, watched a lot of football. My concern is Callahan just lacks the leadership and the intensity to be a head coach in the National Football League. He looks defeated, sounds defeated. It doesn't have to come in any form. I grew up watching Bud Grant. He was very stoic, but he had an intensity. And he would do things like not have a cap on or gloves on the sideline when it was 10 degrees, just to set a tone, a belief and a fierceness. I don't see any of that in Brian Callahan. I see a nice guy who's probably a pretty good offensive mind, but it's not a leader innately. And boy, if any situation needed a leader, it's this one. Think of Clark Lee in that 2-win season, no SEC wins. And I never once watched him. I never once saw him lose his fire and his belief. And I never once saw him not have set a tone accordingly. And here we are 2 years later, good things have happened. And you can argue that situation for him in a different context was no less challenging than what we have at hand. I just think he's the wrong guy. He needs to go back to being a coordinator somewhere. And the Titans would do well to cut their losses now and move on. At least let someone come in who has that fire, because right now it's hard to watch. Not fun to watch. That's it. And I appreciate you guys.
Good call, Rick. The problem is about
Gary.
Oh, Gary. Sorry, Gary.
I've been called a lot worse.
I'm sorry. I can't. Gary, God bless you, Gary. The fact is, you said Callahan going back to be a coordinator. Thing was, never was. He's never called plays. And we're putting an end to the OC now. If you've never called plays, you are not a coordinator. I've been beating this drum for 2 years now. If you don't call plays, you are not a coordinator. You're a coach. Bottom line.
Look, we're GMs now, so that's our rule.
Co-GMs, man. This will be fun. I like this.
Can we go draft like an offensive lineman that is named like Bubba or something, that is just like this huge country strong guy? We'll get him in like the 5th round and he'll be our all-pro.
I see why not.
Yeah, because here's the thing on Gary's call, and Joe, you remember this because we worked with Brad Hopkins for a while, and he used to tell the story that it was a Bruce Matthews rule, but it was kind of like, if you want to wear sleeves in December, you're going to wear those in August. If you want to not wear sleeves in August, then you're going to not wear sleeves in December. You had to decide. They don't do stuff like that anymore.
No.
And it's like, but you look at those offensive lines and how freaking good they were.
Hey, who was the guy that complained it was too cold in Washington last year? The DB.
Oh, yeah.
Was it Brownlee?
Maybe. Yeah, he was Brownlee.
Yeah,
it was Brownlee.
He complained. Yeah. It's like, you guys are terrible. He's like, yeah, it's pretty damn cold out there today. I was like, what kind of world have we come to when you're complaining about the weather? My good. And like, well, he's from Florida. I don't care.
Yeah, you're playing football.
Right.
615-737-1025. Rick, you're up next. What's up, Rick?
Well, I don't know, but you guys are talking about boot camp stuff here. When everybody falls out of barracks, one wears the coat, everybody wears the coat. You know what I mean? Anyway, hey, I hate to age myself, but actually I don't mind. But I've been watching pro football and pro basketball and, of course, baseball since I was knee-high. And going back to the days, like, the Bud Grant days, even the latter days of Unitas and Bart Starr and all those guys, Tom Landry, Staubach. I mean, that's how far back I go watching football and really loving it. Pro football, I mean. So Now, this sounds like a silly statement, but I swear to God, you guys, I have never seen a team as bad as what we have now. And, no, I hate to say it, but I'm dead serious. Yesterday, it was just, I sat there and watched. Then I'd go to the Ryder Cup. I'd come back and I'd say, this is the worst thing. This is the worst product I've ever seen put on a field.
Pretty bad.
And so, and so then I got thinking, with the exception of, bless his heart, I'm telling you, we are so fortunate. We've got this young Cam Ward in our camp for a while. Now, I don't know if we'll ruin him like we have some other quarterbacks, but this young man has got what it takes to really build around. But God, what do you do if you're Amy? I mean, what the hell? You got a new stadium coming. You've got a team with absolutely nothing going on, from coaching to your personnel. I mean, I don't know how this woman sleeps at night, but I just say it's a hell of a damn state, and I don't have any answers whatsoever of how to straighten this thing out, you know?
Rick,
anyway, maybe you guys have some ideas, but there you go.
Well, we are the GM, so we know what to do.
I'll tell you a secret. I don't think she knows either, because if she did, it would be fixed.
Well, that's what I'm worried about, you know?
Yep.
But the GM, that guy has got to take a lot of heat for this, because when you look at the players that we are lining up against the other guys, I mean, those left and right tackles, it is brutal. It's embarrassing.
Thanks, Rick. Appreciate the call.
I'm sorry.
Bye-bye.
We got a text from our good buddy Chris Hughes, the head coach of Fairview, and says,
"Hey, let's hire him."
Yeah. He says, "Always listen to you and Chase and coach accordingly. If you say think Fairview should throw more, we throw more. You say change defense, we change defense. That's the power of the radio with us. So that's what we're going to do, man. And look, do you think Amy cares? I hope she does. But the fact is, they have this multi-billion-dollar deal from the NFL and TV contracts. As long as that check clears, she's good. I'm telling you, she's good. How does she sleep tonight? On silk sheets in a $10 million mansion. That's how she sleeps.
Come on, man. It's probably a $20 million mansion. What are you talking about? Do I think she cares? Yes. I don't question that she cares. I definitely think she cares. If I were advising her, there are some things that I think she should do differently. She either wants to be public with statements or she wants to hide. And I think there's a middle ground there. I get it. If she's not, there's some people that aren't good at public speaking, but like we had a caller earlier say that he was a Cowboys fan and that you got the worst owner and GM, on both situations. I think the Titans have figured out they've figured out the GM. I think Borgonzi's pretty good. I think with the Cowboys, Jerry's actually not a bad owner. He's a bad GM, but you look at the things he's gotten done in the NFL and with the Cowboys, he's been a pretty good owner. So I'm not going to sit there and say that he's a bad owner. I just think he's a bad GM.
He got 3 Super Bowls within 5 years. Bud Adams
with Jimmy Johnson.
With Jim, I know, but he's still the owner.
Yep.
Bud Adams and that family in 65 years. Well, I'm going to go to they joined the merger in 70, and that's what 55 years have been to 1. And that's so we could laugh at Jerry Jones all day long. He's got 3 Super Bowls. And that's it. So yeah, whatever. But comparing the Cowboys and the Titans, that's night and day, man.
615-737-1025. Read your text and you'll know why I got distracted.
Oh God, okay.
Coming up next, Brian Callahan is scheduled to speak. We'll bring that to you in its entirety. John McClain at 2:00. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Hey, DVD with D-Mace, Vingan, and Donick will be broadcasting live at the new Circus Sportsbook Kentucky in the Mint Gaming Hall today prior to the Monday Night Football game. Head up there and watch the Jets and Dolphins and the Bengals and Broncos. Plus, ask about Circus giveaway of a trip to Las Vegas for the Titans-Raiders game in October. Brian Callahan scheduled to speak here in just a few minutes.
You know what Callahan should do? He should do what Bad Bunny's going to do at the Super Bowl. Bad Bunny's planning on doing the Super Bowl in Spanish. So Callahan should come out and give the entire press conference in Spanish and just leave. And just leave and get out of there and, and talk for like 30 minutes too and just get out of this.
Well, I mean, whatever, if he knows another language, just French,
right.
German, Italian, whatever.
Or he should try to peddle some kind of timeshare while he's up there too. It's like, hey guys, there's some kind of time. I mean, what could be the most
Then Chuck McDowell will call him.
Right. And then Chuck goes there and those two get in a big brawl and there's a big story. And you watch Callahan beat Chuck's ass, and that's like a whole other story going on. And then you're not talking about Callahan being fired anymore. You're kind of like, that's my coach.
Yeah. By the way, we had a caller earlier talking about Nick Sirianni, the Eagles coach. I think I've added him to my list of coaches I'd like to like. If they asked me to get into a fight with them, I'd be like, okay, I'm with you. I got your back. I like him.
Oh yeah,
and I don't like the Eagles. I'm a Cowboys fan, but I like him.
He did that Bash Brothers thing with one of the assistant coaches yesterday. All right, we got to go.
All right, let's go to Brian Callahan.
And this morning and meeting with the team and staff and all those things feel, pretty similar to how I did after the game. Is we played, 3 quarters of really good defensive football, and had a chance to be in the game. And then I think again our biggest issue thus far has been we've not made plays late in the game or given plays up. We throw another interception in the fourth quarter that kind of blows the game open at the end, which is disappointing. But there's a lot of things that we got to get fixed. We're not where we want to be right now. I've been disappointed with the start, been disappointed with the totality of our play. And there's a lot of things we got to get better at. But I like the way our team attacks it. We work at it. We just got to get those things to carry over to Sunday.
Was that second and 32 converted? Was that kind of where things broke defensively for you guys?
That's a big play to give up. We get them all the way back to second and 23, and you hope to make it another, at minimum a third and 15 plus, and get the ball back with pretty good field position. Where they were backed up enough to where that field wasn't going to flip the same way it would if they were, in the 45-ish, 50-ish range, and that's usually how you can set yourself up for some success offensively. So giving that up was a big play in the game, and those are the down and distances that you work really hard to get teams into, where you can get them way behind the sticks, and to not take advantage of that was disappointing.
Some ways, Brian, I guess obviously 0-4, the numbers aren't great for you guys. Are there some ways that you can point to any improvement either from the end of last season or from the first game of this season? Any areas that you can say we think we're better in these areas?
Yeah, there's things that are better. I mean, that's hard in the moment being 0-4 and trying to show a lot of things that are positive. Yes, there's things that are better. I do think we're running the ball well. I think we need more of it, but I think we're running the ball well. There's been some really good things defensively, just not consistent enough over the course of a game to be able to point to that and say that's good enough. I hesitate to say anything at this moment is where we want to be, because we're 0-4 and haven't played a brand of football that would allow us to win a game. So there's definitely things that I see that are encouraging, but we got to do more of it and more of it more often.
You haven't gotten an opportunity to step back and not call the plays. What did you gain on game day from doing that yesterday?
Yeah, it was unique. That was a weird feeling for me, but there definitely was. It was clearer on a lot of, just in terms of like there's not that much going on. I just do a lot of listening on both sides and just making sure we're paying attention to where we are situationally and the things that are coming up or could be coming up. I did go try to spend more time talking to the players over the course of the game, so it was trying to find out where I'd fit in like that. That was different. Again, I've only known calling games, as the head coach, so it was a unique experience. Again, I don't know if it was good or bad or not, but it was different, and I felt like there was some positives from it, though.
Potentially get Spears back in the mix this week.
It's potentially, yeah. I think we're going to activate him, open up his window. That's a 21-day window he has to get elevated back to the active roster. He's done really well in the course of, especially last week. Some of the workouts and stuff looked really, really good. He'd be a nice addition to get back on the field for us. I'd be pleased to see him back and help Tony out a bit too, because Tony's doing a phenomenal job for us. That'd be nice to get him somebody to complement that.
Cam's going through right now. Do you see him as stagnating, regressing at all, or is it just kind of rookie has to take some lumps?
I think it'd be hard to put a regression tag on 4 starts. I think that would be tough. I think he's learning every time he goes out there. I thought there was some really incredible moments over the second half of the Indy game with the amount of things that he saw, how he responded to them, the management of it, knowing where the answers are, understanding how to protect himself, understanding where the ball needs to go. I think there's definitely, he's got to keep improving. There's always the timing and accuracy portion of the passing game tied in with the footwork that are all kind of things we continue to work on. It's hard to play quarterback in the NFL, and he's had to learn some tough lessons, I think. But he's also incredibly willing and incredibly passionate about trying to do things the way that you need to do it. He's understanding what it takes to play NFL quarterback. And again, through 4 games, he's seen a lot of different things in 4 games. The schemes, the rushers, the style, the defenses that we played, all very different, all very good. And he's only going to get better every time he sees those things.
Is he talking about the timing? Does it have more to do with getting the ball out or timing with receivers? Where is the timing right now?
It's all of that, and some of it's depending on the play. It's not a one time thing or an all the time thing. There's spots where within a concept of just understanding when to move on, how quick to move on, where to progress, what's the next thing, and how fast does that have to happen. So all of those things are things that it's constantly going to be coached, and you don't just arrive in the NFL a perfect product like that. And but man, he puts the time into it. He works at it, and he understands it. And now it's just to continue to build on the things that he's done well and to keep stacking that stuff.
Yesterday, it felt like yesterday his accuracy and then ball security was a little off from previous weeks. Do you have to guard against that when you're not scoring points against an offense, you're not winning games? The young quarterback in particular tries to do too much and do it all on himself.
I think that's a great way to put it. You always, that's a lot of players, it's a lot of players that know they can be really impactful in games, and they get into moments where they feel like they need to do something other than what's asked of the job, whatever that coverage or play or what's asked of them to do in that particular down. You always have to be mindful of that. And especially at the quarterback position, because you do feel at that spot some pressure to do more when really that's not what we need, from a down and down basis from Cam. We just need him to do his part as one of the 11 guys on the field, and again, got to do things around him better too. But you always want to be careful of trying to do too much. It's usually when bad things happen, when you try to make a bigger play or a more exciting play because you think you have to.
You just gave up play calling. In light of the results you're getting, is there any inclination to do anything else that would qualify as a shakeup for the player?
Are you talking about like people's roles and playing time in that? Is that what you're referring to, or is that
or anything?
I think what we need, when you're 0-4, sort of everything is always on the table to try to improve and find a place to win. I do think when you sit back and you just say that, everything's great. I mean, it's not. We're 0-4, and we got to do some things better, and we got to do them different if that's the case. And so nothing imminent to answer the actual question, nothing imminent in change, but those are always things we're evaluating and looking at. And if there's a place where we can do better and put ourselves in a better spot, then we'll have to do that.
As part of the misfires in the passing game, are the receivers winning their battles enough, and are they winning them on time to help him out?
Yeah, there's been moments where they have, and then moments where we haven't. I think it's always an up and down. There's been really nice moments of wins that we've connected on some. There's been some wins that maybe we missed the throw. And then there's times where we haven't won, and we got to do a better job of that too. I think the general consistency from top to bottom in the passing game, we're still working to improve every day.
Snaps were down for Calvin yesterday. Was that health related or?
Yeah, he was fighting through. He was fighting through it yesterday. Nothing serious, but just those things that happen. Especially guys that run when they get banged up a little bit. They sometimes can't take the normal volume that they've taken before. So he was battling. He battled his tail off yesterday, but certainly was feeling some nicks and bruises
In the game or leading up to it?
in the game. Yeah,
Fair or unfair, Brian, to characterize this team as regressed from week 1 to week 4?
I think all the games have been different for varying reasons. I think regression is again, 4 games is tough to nail a regression when you've lost them all. I think we've done some really good things in all of the games that we've played. We've just got to find a way to do those things for the entirety of the game, and then make the plays that help us win the game in the fourth quarter, which is really where all these games have gotten away from us in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's a turnover, it's missed tackles, it's a big run. Those types of things have put some games out of reach that we felt really good about. Heading into that fourth quarter, it felt like we were dancing toe to toe with some of these teams, and we didn't do the things for the last 15 minutes or 12 minutes that we needed to do to win the game.
We've never really seen Cam get animated until maybe yesterday in the post-game presser and the way he characterized the team. How do you feel about that? And I mean, it's a good thing for him to set that tone as the quarterback.
I think what everyone is learning about Cam is that he cares a tremendous amount. It's really important to him. He wants to win football games. He wants to deliver winning performances for our organization, for our fans. That's what he cares about. There's nothing else that he has any interest in other than playing football and trying to play football at a high level. And those responses, for him, that he wears his emotions a little bit out there, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Because at the end of the day, I know where it's coming from, and I know why he's the way he is in those moments, is because he wants nothing more than to play well and win.
You said last week about the challenges of leadership at 0-4. What's the key to getting the guys to still buy in and still believe that do what we say, and then we'll be on the other side of the ledger?
Oh, you keep showing them. You show where things are good. And there's a lot of that. You show where we have to be better, and there's plenty of that. And you're honest about it. You tell the truth, and you fix what you as many things as you can fix in the short amount of time as you can possibly fix them, and you keep pushing forward. And we got the right kind of guys. They got the right makeup. They understand. They're pros, and that's how this business can be. Sometimes it can be challenging, and you have to play the next play is the best way to put it. And you have to play the next week, and you play the next game, and you have to do everything you can to fix your issues, and you work really hard at that, and you hope that it shows up sooner than later. But backs up against the wall a bit, and you have to ball your fist up and fight your way out. There's really not much else you can do.
How much of that has to be player led? How much of that has to be player led, Brian?
I think all the best teams I've ever been on have a really strong player leadership, and I've been really pleased, on the growth in that area from top to bottom. Again, not something that I can point to and say, see, that's not the case, but I know it because I'm around it every day. But the player-led teams are usually the best ones, and the ones that can win the most games are when you have the ability of your team to put the players in the position to understand what you need from them and how they need to respond. And I'm really proud of that part of our football team and the things that they've done. Again, not that show up to anybody watching, but to what I see in the building every day.
In the fourth quarter that you're seeing.
Start again one more time.
The imbalance in the fourth quarter. Each game there's been an explosive, multiple missed tackles. What would you say that is that fatigue on the defense, or what would you say is happening?
No, I don't think it's fatigue. There's definitely a moment. It's just particularly in this last game. You throw that interception, and all of a sudden it's I think it was 12-0 at the time. Maybe I can't remember quite exactly the score, but those are moments that can be deflating. Especially when you're playing that way. Again, playing pretty good defense for the majority of the game, and to have that happen, in that big spot where you need something to go your way to capture some momentum back. And I think that's something we got to work on, that response too. Like, we got to go bow up when that happens. But that's something that we're continuing to work on.
You said last week that this game was about who's more desperate to win. In lieu of how it unfolded, what did that tell you about your team and desperation?
I think we didn't do enough of the things that we needed to do from an execution standpoint. In the spots that were big, and you alluded to 2nd and 23 earlier in the game, we talked about, like, those are the things that you have to do to win games. You can't put yourself in that spot. I think we got to coach better than we did. We got to put ourselves in better spots from some of the schematic choices, and those are things that we continue to look at after every game and try to find what's our best mix of things and how do we best deploy the people we have. So I think we played really hard. We put ourselves in a spot, deep into the game where it was a one-score football game, and again, had a chance for it to be a tie game at that point, but we didn't hit the kicks that we needed to hit. But yeah, there's some things that are really encouraging about the way that they played early, and then we got to find a way to finish.
You mentioned that Thursday was good. A couple of players mentioned that Thursday was good. Does Sunday being so bad tell us that Thursday doesn't mean a lot?
I think practice always means something. I mean, it's an important part of the process, and the only way you know how to judge on where your team's at is how you practice, and that part of what we do has been really positive, and I appreciate the way the guys work. I appreciate the intensity they practice with. I mean, all the things that pointed to a winning style week, we're all there. And that's the disappointing part, is to not see enough of it show up on Sunday. But how we practice is always going to be a really, really important factor in winning and losing football games.
How close how close was Dan to not playing? How do you think him and Ole did? And then how optimistic are you about potentially getting JC back this weekend?
Yeah, Dan was really close to not playing. He woke up in the morning and was battling some legitimate sickness, and we worked him out at about 10 o'clock ish, 10:10, to see if he's going to be able to go. And he said, "I got you. I'm going." But that was right up against the 90-minute mark that we had to turn in actives in. So we were right up against it, and he gave it everything he had, and I appreciate that about him. For him to go out there and battle that way against the players he had to go battle against was good. I thought that he had some moments, against great pass rushers and one-on-one spots that he had some wins and he had a couple losses, and that's usually what happens when you play against those guys. Ole was solid. There's things that we tried to help both those guys wherever we could, because again, those two edge rushers are probably two of the better ones in football, and so we tried to help where we could. But I thought Ole had a solid performance. Again, still got to play better than we did up front for sure. But I thought that in a reserve role against a really good player, he had some moments that were really positive.
JC, just
two more guys. Do you have assurances that you're going to be able to see this through this season, where you're not looking over your shoulder after every Sunday?
Yeah, I don't. Whether I do or I don't, or it doesn't matter to me. My job is to try to put our team in position to win as many games as possible, and to keep coaching until the day comes that they don't want me to coach here anymore. And that's the reality for everybody that coaches in the league. You don't think too much about it. I don't look for assurances. I can tell you I've always been supported here. I've always felt like the people that I have to work with on a day-to-day basis believe in what we're doing and how we're doing it. But again, I also know how the NFL works. So yeah, I go in every day and I work as hard as I possibly can to try to put ourselves in good position, and I do that for as long as they'll have me. And that's the only way I've ever known how to work. That's how I've worked every spot I've ever been. Your assurances come from how you play and you win. That's at the end of the day. That's just how it always goes. So we got to get ourselves to that spot.
Last year there were a lot of turnovers and mistakes made in the name of trying to make a big play and get an explosive play. But this year there've been a lot fewer of those type plays, but there's also been a lot fewer explosive plays. Have you guys been more conservative by nature in your calls and how you want to approach?
I think it's a mix of a lot of those things. I think part of it's a rookie quarterback. I'm trying to make sure that you're putting them in the right spots. Part of it is, we lose our starting right tackle, 3 quarters into the season. And you're trying to help manage that. And you're trying to find ways to be explosive while trying to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands. It's sort of this kind of continual flow of things that you're trying to balance, and try to run the ball to help. You're trying to lean on the running game to help a young player too. So all of it has parts where it factors in. And we've taken plenty of shots down the field. They've been called. We've tried to get the ball down the field, and whether the ball gets checked down or we have to move off our spot and we don't get the throw, there's certainly been calls that the ball hasn't gone down the field too, which is another part of it. So it's all of those things. And we're trying to do the best we can to help a young quarterback and take some of the pressure off him, while still trying to give him opportunities to make some plays down the field.
as the play caller sort of indefinitely, I guess, and if so, is there rust at all in something like that when a guy is just getting started?
Yeah, I think that's to be expected. That changes a lot about your process when you're trying to get ready to call a game. And there's some things that he'll keep growing and keep learning. And again, I don't think we're at the spot where we make anything indefinite, but I think we're just going to keep on pushing.
A positive. Jeff's play. How good has he been? How good was he yesterday?
Man,
when we talk about player leadership, how much you point to his play and hope guys follow him.
I'm happy you asked that and gave me an opportunity to point it out, because Jeff has played at a level that I've not seen many defensive players play at. He's been absolutely fantastic in every way, shape, or form you could ask of him. I don't know that there's somebody playing interior defensive line at the level he's playing at right now. I mean, he's been phenomenal. He's been super disruptive in the running game. He's getting pressure and push on the quarterback. And then I think what the area that I'm probably the most, proud of him and excited for him is his leadership and how he carries himself and talks to the team. And that area of his professional growth has been incredible. It's really been cool to see that maturity process in the leadership role. It's cool. It really is. And he's backing it up with how he plays. And I point him out all the time, because, you got a team of guys that can play like Jeff plays. Now, Jeff's also supremely talented. He's one of the top players in his position for a reason. But he backs it up with how he works and how he plays and the effort he plays with and the tenacity he plays with. And then on top of that, he's really grown in a leadership role. So he's been fantastic.
I don't want to get you in trouble on this, but did you get any explanation on how the penalty wasn't called on the hit to the helmet right in front of you?
I did not. I made a lot of stink about it to those guys, and I kept asking them how did we not see that? And they those are always, when there's that many guys on the boundary, and there's 2 or 3 guys in front of him, and he got a pretty good shot right on the top of his head, and I was mad about it. Certainly that wasn't called. I felt like that should have been a penalty. And again, you can't control what they call and don't call, but I felt like that was a pretty clear roughing the passer.
Is there a sense of hopelessness in the building, Brian?
Hopelessness? I sure hope not. I don't feel hopeless. I know that. I don't sense that from anybody that works in our building. I don't sense that from our players. Look, we're in a rough stretch. We're 0-4, and that doesn't feel good. No one's excited about that, but I do feel their willingness, and there's an excitement about trying to climb out of it too. There's something about that's real competitors relish that challenge, and I think we got a bunch of competitors on our team and on our coaching staff and in our building that are going to fight like crazy to turn this thing, man. That's the fun part about these jobs is you get in these adverse situations and you're trying to find a way out. And trust me, I've done it before, been a part of it before in a couple of places, but that reward and that feeling there's nothing like it. And that's what keeps me going, is that moment where we could find a way to get it turned is really something that you can't find anywhere, that feeling of accomplishment. And I think that's what drives us. And I think our guys are excited about the chance to go try to prove it.
See any similarities between this and the 2019 Bengals?
Similarity. They're very different teams in very different places. But I think, we went through a similar style where, we won 6 games in 2 years. And that was a really challenging time for us. It was a challenging time for Zach Taylor. And all you can do is draw back on those experiences and on what got you out of it and how you got out of it. What things mattered, what things didn't, and having lived it, you know what it feels like. So this is not a foreign place. I've felt this before, but again, that turn was remarkable, and it was a really incredible accomplishment, and that's what keeps us going. Thanks, guys.
That's Brian Callahan. A lot to unpack there. We will do that with John McClain coming up next here on Chasing Big Joe 102.5 The Game.
Hey guys, Big Joe here. Did you know that September is Suicide Prevention Month? Yeah, only 2 days left, but for us on this show, it's every single day. Unfortunately, we've all been affected by a friend or loved one who has suffered from depression and is no longer with us. You know, for the last 2 years, we've been on a mental health mission on the Chase and Big Joe show. We tell you that if you're struggling, please talk to someone. Talking to someone changed my life. And if you're in that dark place, I want you to know that help is around the corner. We have partnered with Unity Psychiatric Care, a wonderful place right here in Middle Tennessee for you to get well, and it works. Plus, they have telehealth, so that works as well too. So just go to GameNashville.com, click on the Chase and Big Joe show, and there'll be a link to Unity Psychiatric Care. So many have reached out to us these last 2 years. Now we have a partner that cares about you. And listen, you don't have to go through any of this alone. You can call 1-888-508-8002, 1-888-508-8002. Again, we love you guys. Just go to GameNashville.com, click on the Chase and Big Joe show, and you'll see all the information you need for Unity Psychiatric Care. It's safe, it's anonymous, it's confidential. You'll get the help you need. And help is just around the corner. And listen, you don't have to go through any of this alone.
Hour number 3, chasing Big Joe on a 2-5 the game on this Monday. Hope you're having a great day so far. He's Big Joe. I'm Chase McCabe. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the 1s and 2s. Just heard from Brian Callahan and what he had to say in his Monday press conference. Now let's see what John McClain has to say. He joins us on the program, presented by Maple Street Biscuits. Wake up to wow every Monday at 2. And John, the question did come up about Brian Callahan's job, and that is, do you worry about it? Are you constantly looking over your shoulder? He kind of, sloughed it off and said, I can't worry about that stuff. I'm going to coach this team until they tell me I can't do it anymore, which is kind of the answer you expect. But to me, it's not if, it's more when they decide to make the change.
I don't think Amy Adams Strunk would fire Callahan unless Baganzi and Brinker wanted to do it. She's hired them for a reason, put them over personnel. I always tell people, and they don't want to hear it, well, if you're going to be bad, be all the way bad. Get another high pick and then trade it to a team that needs a quarterback, and you get multiple picks. What they've got to do, and we've talked about this a lot, is show some improvement, and they're not. Those wide receivers, they got to get Cam Ward some weapons. I don't know what they paid Ridley, but he hadn't been worth it, of course. Tony Pollard is the best weapon they have other than Cam Ward, but they need to focus everything they have on building around Ward. They let a team. Now, Texans got a good defense, and here people are going, well, it was just the Titans, worst team in the league. But to shut out a team in the NFL, it's hard. First one the Texans had since 2010 when they shut out the Titans. And so it was, as I predicted, low scoring and boring. I predicted 19-16 until they got to the fourth quarter, and the Texans actually got in the red zone, scored a touchdown. So I think you're right. This team, I don't know if the Titans have enough talent to show a lot of improvement. They did play hard. They did do that, but it looks to me like when you are going to be moving into a new stadium, and next season people want to see positive. They want to see hope, but they're going to be paying big money for suites and club seats and everything. They want to get fired up about the Titans, and that's why I think I'm not in favor of saying we're going to hire a big name, but sometimes when you got to sell, you have to do that at Jim Harbaugh if he's available. And it looks to me like, barring a turnaround, especially since neither one of these guys in charge hired Callahan, they'll be in the market for a new coach, and it will be somebody we all think is a big name. Maybe Mike Tomlin, they screw up, don't make the playoffs. He were to get fired. We never thought Andy Reid would get fired. Somebody that has a successful track record. It's like the Patriots hiring Vrabel. Vrabel was a big name. It was a perfect fit. So I think that's what they'll do.
So who is the big name in your mind?
Well, I was thinking of, and a friend of mine suggested this last night, and what about John Gruden? John Gruden's very popular. He's a big name. He wants to coach again. The things that he had in his emails that were racial at that point were a really big deal. And now it seems like in our current environment, anybody can say anything they want. And I think Gruden's been smart. He works with Barstool. He's all over the internet. And I always like what comes out of Gruden's mouth because I think he's great. Those quarterback sessions he did for ESPN before the draft every year, those were must-see TV. And, he's big in Tennessee. Every time I see in Tennessee, they're talking about, at Tennessee, they're talking about, well, if they fire somebody, what about John Gruden? I don't know what y'all think about that, but it would certainly be a high-profile former coach who is well-known everywhere, and I think would get the fan base fired up, and probably the media. Don't know if Amy Adams Strunk would do that, but they can't, to me, hire another coordinator.
John, you know the Adams family as well as anybody. Do you think John Gruden wants to work for this family?
I think John Gruden wants to work. And I'll tell you guys something. There was a time when Bud was interested in hiring Gruden. I can't remember who the coach was. And he reached out, maybe through an intermediary. And at the time, Gruden, it would cost a lot of money to get him. And I think that the stars won't align. Now, just because Bud was interested in hiring him doesn't mean Amy would. And I don't think she'd hire somebody. If Begonzi and Brinker said, no, we shouldn't do that, they'd have to, if they're smart, get on whatever page Amy is on. But I just don't see him hiring another coordinator when you're in the situation they will be in next season, so close to the opening of the new stadium.
John, I know you follow the team, down in Houston, the 0-3. What you saw yesterday from the Titans, was that worse than you expected?
Yes. Yes. I predicted 19-16. I thought it would be a field goal game, and it was for the longest time. If Joey Wide Right had hit his 2 field goals, we'd had a 6-6 game in the fourth quarter, and either team could have won. And they can't even count on him to kick a field goal. So, yes, the Titans were worse than I thought. And the Texans' defense, their defensive coordinator, Matt Burke, it turned out D'Amico Ryans turned over play calling duties to him for the first time. Matt used to be a defensive coordinator and call plays in Miami. And so he was fortunate that his first team he went against was the Titans. And now he's going to get the Ravens with Lamar Jackson looking like he's going to be out. So it was total domination, of course. And what's interesting about the Titans to me, they didn't commit a lot of turnovers. It shortened the field. They only had one. That play where Cam Ward's got to get over that sidearm motion that he threw that ricocheted to Derek Stingley Jr. I'm sure they're working on that release angle. I mean, he's not Patrick Mahomes, but Mahomes wasn't doing that when he was a rookie either. And so, the running game was about what I thought. They averaged 4.6 yards a carry, and but the passing game, the receivers, boy, it's going to be a long season for Cam Ward with that group of receivers that he's got.
What did you think of his comments after the game? He said, quote, "We ass."
I do a weekly show here since you said it, and they ask me things, is it ass or not ass? And I always have a problem, and they had took an over-under on how many times I'd use the word. So I would go, it is, or it isn't. Well, that's what they wanted. I texted them this morning. I said, you guys have Cam Ward on your show last week? Because when I saw him, he sounded exactly like both of you.
Well, I
think that's frustration. And you know what? What Titan found out there wouldn't say, you know what? He's right.
Right. And I
Yeah.
appreciated the honesty. Like he's the quarterback. I don't care if he's played 4 games or 40. I want him to be honest. He was asked an honest question and gave an honest answer.
Yeah, I think you guys can see the guy, Cam Ward has a chance to be a star, but you can't be a star without players around you. He's got to have a really good receiver like Nico Collins, who had to introduce himself to Snead, of course. And you've got to have a running game, which they have. But in a close game, now the Texans totally control the ball, because I think if the Titans had the ball more, they would have run it more, and they ran it well when they did. They just didn't have the ball enough. And so it's going to be a long season, but keep thinking, draft.
We'll have more with John McClain coming up next, presented by Maple Street Biscuits. Wake up to wow. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game on this Monday, continuing our discussion with John McClain, presented by Maple Street Biscuits. Wake up to wow. John, you have a lot of pull in the NFL. Can you get rid of this 10-minute overtime thing and ties?
If I had a pull, I would have never let him go to 10. I remember when Rich McKay, chairman of the competition committee, announced that at the spring meetings in March. Nobody was for it. They thought the games were lasting too long. If you're in overtime, what, are people bored? Are they going to get up and walk out? Hell no, they're not. They're not going to change the channel. They're not going to do anything. So I think it's ridiculous. Now, this is too early in the year for them to consider changing it. But if you get a high-profile teams like this, the Cowboys and the Packers, to have this to them later in the year, that's when it gets the attention and they consider those rules changes. Nobody likes it. And I think it's ridiculous to go to it. Change it back.
I agree. But I also think, and I look, the compromise would be go to a full quarter. I like the new rule of both teams get a chance. I got no issue. I got no issues there. But a pro game in my mind should never end in a tie. And last night was such a fun game to watch. You're on national television, and I hated to see it end the way that it ended.
Everybody did. I'll guarantee you Roger Goodell didn't like it. Nobody liked it.
Yeah, well, exactly right. All right, talking to John McClain, the Chasing Big Joe show. John, Brian Callahan talked about Jeffrey Simmons, how great he's playing. You saw him firsthand yesterday. Your thoughts on Jeffrey Simmons?
Well, he must have lined up in the backfield. That's the only way you can explain the sack he had, because he got to Stroud quicker than any pass rusher since Next Gen Stats has been recording statistics like that. Now, he was unblocked, too, because they made a mental mistake, and I'm surprised he wasn't able to do that more, but they doubled him after that. Should have been doing it from the get-go, but it was an amazing play.
I mean, and now the thing is, do you trade this guy? That you saw the team, how bad it is. You get assets for him. I mean, do you do him a favor and let him go to a winner? This conundrum you got now with Simmons will drive you crazy of what you should do with him.
I think when you're rebuilding the way they are, they should seriously consider trading him, and the team thinks it's an interior defensive lineman away from getting to the Super Bowl or the playoffs, and get more than one team involved so you can max out.
Oh, absolutely. John, by the way, if you're planning on attending the Titans versus the Cardinals this week in Arizona, the tickets are $21. It's the lowest in the NFL right now. Tickets are $21. John, this team's got to go on the road for 2 more games. This Cardinal team, not bad. They're not great, but they're a lot better than we saw last year. This team's not bad.
Well, didn't they win 8 games last year? Yeah, I don't see them winning more than that. That division's nothing special. 49ers, they've got injuries. They got the easiest schedule. They beat Seattle in that first game, but I don't think they're making the playoffs. The Rams are the best. Seattle's second best. Arizona will be battling 49ers for last place, but it's a great place to visit. And when you can get a ticket so cheap, can you imagine what some of these tickets are going to be? You might be getting them for loose change by the end of the season.
John McClain is with us. Are the Chiefs back?
They look great. Mahomes looked great. They took advantage of an injured team, but that division, Chargers, everybody's talking about Chargers going to the Super Bowl. Then they get beat by the Giants and a rookie quarterback in Jackson Dart. And Denver's not been playing nearly as well as last year. Its defense is not playing well. Raiders just lost again. I think the Chiefs will win the division, get a home game. Nobody will want to play them, but I don't see them getting back to the Super Bowl, because my Super Bowl pick of Buffalo and Detroit's looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, the Bills at 4-0. I mean, they look like they're legit, but what do you think about Mike Vrabel and the Patriots? They're 2-2, but seems like that team is showing some improvement.
Well, they should show improvement. They've got a good head coach, and they've got a good second-year quarterback. I don't think they're going to the playoffs or anything like that, but that's an example of giving your fans hope. You've got a quarterback, and they had more cap dollars than any team in the league last year, and they spent it on both sides of the ball, but especially on offense to help their rookie quarterback Drake May was going into his second season, and that's what any team that has a quarterback they consider the franchise quarterback, they can't worry about defense. You got to win games by taking care of your biggest investment.
I'll tell you this, John. They're the team that I love right now, and I know they lost yesterday, but I absolutely love to watch them. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, they played without Mike Evans, and the ball was tipped and intercepted in the end zone. It looked like they shouldn't have thrown that play on first down, but they're close, and they've almost beaten the Eagles. It's amazing what the Eagles are doing without Saquon Barkley playing like he did last year, even coming close to it. Maybe he's waiting till the weather gets colder and they're preserving him.
John, I did not have Jacksonville at 3-1 right now. That's a big win on the road against the 49ers. John, what's Jacksonville? What are they doing so well?
They were lucky to beat the Texans. They did everything they could to let the Texans win that game. And Texans committed 2 turnovers in the fourth quarter, both in Jacksonville's end of the field. The 49ers are not very good. They're injured, but they're still tied for first place with the Colts. But right now, even though they're 3-1, I guess it's because the game I saw, it just didn't impress me like it would if they were, I think, a better team.
John, the Texans had a trade today. I'm not used to all these in-season trades. Why was that trade important for the Browns, and why did the Texans say, okay?
Well, Cam Robinson, who they had paid $14 million, got him on a signing bonus, and he couldn't start. He lost his job to rookie Ariante Ursary, who played well yesterday in a bounce-back game. And then they got a second-round pick at tackle from last year, and then their other Titus Howard, who was a first-round pick in 19. So those are the 3. Now, they only got a 6. Nick Caserio loves to compile 6th-round draft choices. The Browns were desperate, and that's why they made that deal.
John, does the NFL hate us with a doubleheader tonight that features the Jets and Dolphins and then the Bengals without Joe Burrow and the Broncos?
You know what? Back when the schedule was made, it looked pretty good. I feel bad for them when you think, okay, you had Bo Nix, the best defense in the league. You had who else is playing tonight? I forgot.
Jets and Dolphins.
Yeah.
Oh, the Dolphins, you thought they would be high scoring, and then the Bengals, Joe Burrow, they were a Super Bowl contender.
Do you think if Miami loses tonight, so the Jets or Dolphins, one of them, unless there's a tie, is going to get their first win? Do you think if Miami loses tonight and go 0-4, that it's kind of the same boat as the Titans? It's not if, but when?
No, they got more talent. I read a story earlier before I came on with you from one of the reporters saying they were going to show more exercise, more patience because they think they're good enough to win some games, and they do have a whole lot more talent than the Titans have.
Okay, so is the problem then?
Tua's not playing well. They got injuries. Their defense is not playing well. Tyreek Hill is not the weapon he's been, and so they're just some of the problems they got are not Mike McDaniel issues.
I'd be curious if they do a move similar to what the Titans did when they acquired Ryan Tannehill and try and find that bridge quarterback before. Because I agree, they do have talent before they, go and address it through the draft.
You talking about the Dolphins?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're getting a quarterback. They paid too much money. It'd be too costly to get rid of him. And I think they're stuck with him for a while.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. John, great stuff as always. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Guys, my pleasure. Thank you very much as always.
John McClain joins us every Monday at 2, presented by Maple Street Biscuits. Wake up to wow. We will get back into the Titans and the reaction. You heard from Brian Callahan earlier today, including he was asked about his job, if he worries about that at all. We'll talk about that and much more coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game.
Do you have assurances that you're going to be able to see this through this season, where you're not looking over your shoulder after every Sunday?
Yeah, I don't, whether I do or I don't, or it doesn't matter to me. My job is to try to put our team in position to win as many games as possible and to keep coaching until the day comes that they don't want me to coach here anymore. And that's the reality for everybody that coaches in the league. You don't think too much about it. I don't look for assurances. I can tell you I've always been supported here. I've always felt like the people that I have to work with on a day-to-day basis believe in what we're doing and how we're doing it. But again, I also know how the NFL works. So yeah, I go in every day and I work as hard as I possibly can to try to put ourselves in good position. And I do that for as long as they'll have me. And that's the only way I've ever known how to work. That's how I've worked every spot I've ever been. Your assurances come from how you play and you win. That's at the end of the day. That's just how it always goes. So we got to get ourselves to that spot.
What a good song. That was Brian Callahan. That's why they call it the Blues. That is for sure. Jason Big Joe, 102.5 The Game on this Monday. I kind of buy that answer because I think every coach knows when they get hired, most likely eventually they're going to get fired. That's just kind of how the business goes. But it was the right question to ask. I mean, he should be asked about his job status right now.
Well, I mean, the old thing is there's two kinds of coaches, right? Ones that have been fired, ones that are going to get fired. I mean, it's the nature of the game. But I just guess it's not in his DNA to be pissed off. I mean, maybe he is behind the scenes. I don't know. But I can't – and I sent you the text during that interview. I don't know if this team's 0-4, 1-3, 2-2, or 3-1. I don't know. I really, because the way he's talking, it sounds like, hey, we're still working hard. At some point, do you not just get mad and just tear off on people? I mean, I would. I just guess that's our nature to do that. But I'm just not used to a coach, the head coach of a team that right now is one of the worst I've ever seen, not really being mad. I don't. Maybe that's just me. I don't. Maybe I'm different.
You're not, because I get. Do you remember that when the Lego movie came out like 10 years ago?
Yes.
And there was that song, "Everything is Awesome."
Yeah.
Like that's what I feel like is being played over there.
Oh, I thought I'd gotten that song and movie out of my head. Thank you very much.
Sorry.
Now it's back.
I'm glad.
But no, you're right. I mean, I just, that's why the question is like, are you on the hot seat? Do you feel like, what do you do? I mean, do you feel like you get a knock any second? Now it's time to go. I mean, how do you get out of this mess? And it's like, point out things on the tape that we got to do better. It's just like at some point, say different things. If he's telling them what he's telling us, I'm not running through a wall. I'm not getting out of my chair.
That's why you make the move. And
yes.
I know they don't want to, and I know why they don't want to, because they don't want to pay 3 head coaches essentially in the course of a year. And that's what would happen, because you would have to pay him out his contract. You then would elevate somebody to be the interim and pay them a higher salary. They probably wouldn't keep the job. And then you have to pay buyouts for the entire staff that you're not going to keep. And then you go hire new staff. So it's an expensive move, but you also have to look at the growth of the team. The team is not growing. The team is not getting better. Yes, the roster is terrible, but you're doing your rookie quarterback a disservice, I think, by keeping status quo. And to me, that's what they're doing right now. So and the other thing is, it's very rare that you look around and you see the fans, a majority of the fans, a majority of the media that covers the team, that talks about the team, that are all saying the same thing, and that is to fire him. Like, shouldn't that tell you? I mean, according to a caller, we run the team.
Yeah, right.
So, if we're all saying get rid of him, then what are you doing?
I know, and I'm going to say it again, and don't get mad at me, but I mean, you're worth a couple $2 billion, and you're okay to fire these. And the thing is, you got a car. It keeps continuously breaking down on you, breaking down, and you're trying to fix it. At what point do you say, you know what, this car sucks, and I'm just going to get a new car? That's what this is right now. You're putting more into this right now. It's not going anywhere. I asked John McClain, you've watched the Titans from afar. You see him up close. were they worse than you thought? He's like, absolutely. That's a guy that's seen a lot of football in 45 years in the NFL, and he knows bad football. This is a bad football team.
100%, without question, they are. And the phrase "penny wise and pound foolish" comes to mind.
Now, where'd you get that from?
That's
pretty good.
I've heard it time or two.
That's pretty. Look at you.
What is it Greg Pogue likes to say?
Selective poverty?
Yes.
He says Vanderbilt's got selective poverty, and so now the Titans have.
I think they used to. I don't know if that's really the case anymore.
Well, look at it. Yeah, and they're 5-0, and they're going to Alabama. They featured on game day. I mean, good for them. I mean, at least somebody around here is smiling when they go in the office.
By the way, when I said that Vandy's going to go beat Alabama earlier, Al texted in and wants to know if I'm drinking on the show again.
Yeah, are you?
No, but somebody did tell me. Yeah, I know. I laughed at again. I'm like, when did I the first time? But I laughed because my throat, is hurting, and Sean Fort texted me. He was like, "Hey, when you get off the air, you should." And I've heard this before. Pete Weber's given me this advice. Broadcasters use it, singers use it, to gargle whiskey or bourbon because it will help. So I may have to do that.
Well, you go do that, buddy. You go gargle all afternoon long and do that. And don't be like a friend of ours and butt dial me at 8:00 and because you've been drinking whiskey all afternoon.
I'll call you and be like, "Joe, what are you doing, man? You gotta, we're the GMs now. You're gonna fire Callahan? Let's do it. Let's go."
For those that know, somebody called earlier and said that Chase and I, and for the most part, radio in town has the most influence on everybody that's walking in Middle Tennessee. And we laughed because it's just, if you begin to think that way, then you got problems. And we're not, trust me. We like to have a good time.
Isn't the same as hunting together. And under Brian Callahan, we will be going out and hunting together.
And taking naps.
Wait, I have never heard that. Play it again.
Play it again.
Hunting at the same time isn't the same as hunting together. And under Brian Callahan, we will be going out and hunting together.
Is that I know it's Rand Carth. That sounds like it's from what's the movie with
No, you know what it sounds like?
The Hangover, whatever it is.
I don't know why it took me this long to figure this out, but some of the clips that we have played of him, you know who he is? He's Butch Jones. We had the NFL version of Butch Jones, brick by brick, and all these BS sayings that never did anything.
One more time, if you don't mind, Dr. Crane.
Hunting at the same time isn't the same as hunting together. And under Brian Callahan, we will be going out and hunting together.
I have literally no idea what that means. I mean, I do in a far part of my brain, but that is just what the hell is that? I don't know. I had never heard that till right now.
We could spend an hour on some of the things that have been said at the podium, in the last few years. We got our Mike Vrabel, play better, coach better, or I suck and the team sucks and all that stuff. We have that from Rand. I'm sure, J-Rob crying is one.
Oh my God.
We got that one.
The hands comment to Rex Road always makes me laugh.
I mean, Vrabel is going to have most of them, but
probably not.
Yep. Thank you.
That always makes me laugh. And then the Rex Road one, understand the
con. Your hands like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a question in here. Well, then ask the question. No, I'm just saying, like, you look ridiculous.
Is that why Rexroad doesn't go to Titans stuff anymore?
Well, I want to know what Joe's hands looked like in that. Was he flipping him off? I mean, I want to know what Joe's hands were.
I think he had him held up.
Did he have a cramp?
He raised his hand like, Mr. Vrabel.
It's just, when I heard that the first time, I just could not stop laughing. And it gets funnier each time. And I guess one day we'll ask Joe Rexroad what his hands were and how they were conformed to incite Mr. Vrabel that way.
I don't know, but it was it will stand the test of time. And then isn't that the same clip that Glennon's trying to ask about just something completely random?
Trey Avery, was that
no, that was when it was Trey Avery, but that was when somebody asked him about losing, and he said it sucks to lose and dropped some F-bombs or something, and then Glenn, like it's kind of awkward for a second. Glennon's like, so Trey Avery.
Yeah, Gentry asked him that question.
Yes, that's it. It sucks to lose and all that stuff. And then like, so what about Trey Avery?
Oh, that's right.
And that's prime opportunity, sorry, Joe, to bring that up, because if you look at Brian Callahan and everybody's comparing him to, always beating up on Paul Karski for asking the question, Mike Vrabel, he was always upfront about everything. If he didn't like it, he didn't like it.
Yeah.
Brian Callahan doesn't do that. Like you guys say, I don't want to call him soft, but he doesn't set the precedent of, hey, I'm the head coach. If I'm mad about something, I'll express it. If not, I'll express it on another, media member, which is shallow.
I feel like, and that's why yesterday, can you play the exchange with Kuharski yesterday? You got that? Yeah. I mean, because there's a point I want to make on this, but I want to play it first before I say what I'm going to say. So we'll stall it for a second. Sorry, I should have. Okay, play it.
Do you think this is a resilient and relentless football team?
I know what you're doing there, Paul. I know what you're doing, and I'm not going to answer that right now.
Well, I mean, those are the themes that we've tried to
Yeah,
football team. You're 20-some games in.
Yeah.
Stuck.
I'm just compose myself here before I say something I regret. But yes, I
Say
think
it.
this team is resilient. I think it is relentless. We haven't played good enough football, and I think those are two very distinct, different things. We have to execute at a better level. We have to coach better. That's really all I can say.
All right, play better, coach better. If he had said what he wanted to say, and even if that was F you, Paul Kuharski, I would have. We could have been having a different conversation today.
Sure,
but he doesn't do that.
Nope.
And so, therefore, like, I don't think he's soft, but I think he comes across that way because he won't say what he really wants to say. And I don't know if that's because he's been commanded not to, which wouldn't shock me if it's like, hey, the last guy, he was a little too emotional, so we need you to be the opposite. Which, if that's the case, then that's everything wrong with this.
Right.
I mean, Vrabel could be a Richard, so let's hire the complete opposite.
Well, I mean, to compose your thought, just let it go.
Just say it. That's what Paul's trying to get you to do. Paul's trying to get you to open up. And by the way, when Paul asks those questions, guess whose name gets brought up on Pat McAfee? It's not Brian Callahan. It's Paul Kuharski, because he's the one willing to ask the question.
Yep. That 100%. And that's the thing, is like, elicit a response. Show me that you're passionate and care. And I know he cares, but again, if you're the same tone to the players that you're telling us, man, I'm not getting out of my chair.
So the question that Paul asked today towards the end of the press conference, is it a hopeless feeling in the building right now? And he said, I hope not. Well, guess what? I think there's some people that if you ask them that, they would tell you, yeah, this shows no. I mean, the quarterback, he didn't say it was hopeless, but the quarterback's like, something's got to change. The star defensive tackle, something's got to change. Other guys in the locker room are like, something's got to change. We got to play better. We are not living up to what we should be doing right now. Now, granted, it's a bad team, but at the same, all right, this was the question today.
Is there a sense of hopelessness in the building, Brian?
Hopelessness? I sure hope not. I don't feel hopeless. I know that. I don't sense that from anybody that works in our building. I don't sense that from our players. Look, we're in a rough stretch. We're 0-4, and that doesn't feel good. No one's excited about that, but I do feel their willingness, and there's an excitement about trying to climb out of it too. There's something about that's real competitors relish that challenge, and I think we got a bunch of competitors on our team and on our coaching staff and in our building that are going to fight like crazy to turn this thing, man. That's the fun part about these jobs is you get in these adverse situations and you're trying to find a way out. And trust me, I've done it before, been a part of it before in a couple places, but that reward and that feeling there's nothing like it. And then that's what keeps me going, is that moment we could find a way to get it turned is really something that you can't find anywhere, that feeling of accomplishment. And I think that's what drives us. And I think our guys are excited about the chance to go try to prove it.
They're excited. Yay! We're excited. Man,
you know what I heard when it's gonna, dang it. I was gonna play something off my computer here, but it was the scene of the Camp Krusty episode of The Simpsons where I just heard Jimbo going, we got to have these wallets on the streets of Hong Kong by Friday. That's what I feel like. Like, now there better not be any helplessness feeling in this building. Like, it's just brainwashing them.
I just, the whole thing now is just, it's comical because we see the result of what you put on the field. It's 0-4. And can it get worse? Unfortunately, probably so. And that's the sad part.
Yep. But you know what doesn't get worse? Celebrity birthdays. And what day is it? That is all coming up next here on the Chasing Big Joe show, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game on this Monday. DVD is coming up next. They will be at the Circa Sportsbook, Kentucky, and obviously be taking your calls and texts on the Titans losing 26-0 to Houston yesterday. With that, though, let's get to what day is it and celebrity birthdays. And we would like to thank Jarrett Companies for being our sponsor for this from the last few months. Their time ran out, but really appreciate that. We've enjoyed working with them, so just want to give them a little shout out.
Well, with that note, we'll continue here. Broadway Musicals Day is today, so if you're a Broadway
Joe,
fan,
you
go
love
ahead.
Broadway musicals.
Oh, I love. I've seen Hamilton 37 times.
Do you remember when we took Dr. Crane to see Cats for the first time?
Oh my God, he thought we were going to see literal cats.
Yeah, he
it
did.
was a Broadway play.
But he cried. He cried like a baby. He was just and really isn't all that sad.
Right.
He was just
Good
very
times.
emotional.
Use my bow tie as a little, handkerchief. Besides that, we have Confucius Day is today. So
The Titans are having Confusion Day.
yeah, I think that's every day.
Confucius say they should fire a bad coach of bad team.
Yes. Agree.
That's terrible. I apologize to everybody.
Take the
out
rest
there.
of the day off.
Goose Day is today. So if you have a goose or geese or whatever,
I goose. Civil about what if you got a silly goose?
I think that's no comment.
Go ahead and fade him down.
Yeah, I'm just going to do that. International Day of Awareness of Food Loss and Waste. So there you go. Let's see. National Attend Your Grandchild's Birthday Day is today. So National Coffee Day, which is delicious. You can pair that with biscotti. Today is National Biscotti Day. It's Italian cookie. It's delicious. National Corn Day is today. You can celebrate that in Mexico is what it says. So let's see. Veterans of Foreign Wars Day is today. World Heart Day. And to wrap it up, National Mocha Day. Not matcha, mocha.
Nice.
Spell that.
M-O-C-H-A. Mocha. Matcha's M-A-C-H-A.
What's mocha?
Damn it, that is mocha.
You said matcha. Matcha, man.
Oh, God bless you, man. I mean,
Is that with Zinfandel?
Yeah, they go together. They have an appointment together later.
So you get some Zinfandel, some matcha, and you watch VHS tapes of Dallas.
Yep. People probably think out there I have one brain cell. I promise I have 4, not just one.
It's okay.
So,
we
yeah,
have 2 between us.
That's all right. I'm dumb. We get it.
Mocha.
No, you're not.
Mocha Day.
Dumb. I'm dumb.
Mocha.
I just, whenever I think of an Italian word, I try to put it back to American, and then I'm like, wait a minute, this ain't right. And then my brain gets confused. And, yeah. I'll see you guys another day. Chase, my last day. Thanks, man.
Yeah, we appreciate
We got
your
birthdays, punk. All right, the celebrity birthdays. Got to get these birthdays within 2 years on either side of the actual birthday. Our first birthday from the movie or from the TV show Deadwood. He was also in We Are Marshall, Ian McShane.
Am I first?
Yes.
53.
50.
83. Ooh. Dr. Crane, Andrew Dice Clay. Hickory Dock. What?
72.
74.
Quick on that. 68. Chase, you're up. Chrissy Metz. How old is she? She's from the TV show This Is Us.
44.
50.
45. All right, Dr. Crane, you're now up, buddy. Singer Halsey.
38.
24.
31. Now your turn, Chaser. TV personality Bryant Gumbel.
75.
80.
77. Chase up 2-0. Let's see what else we got here. She was Captain Steubing's daughter on the Love Boat, Jill Whelan.
62.
60.
59. Dr. Crane, you're up now. Where'd it go? Holy cow. Oh, actress Emily Lloyd. Sorry.
5.
How old?
5. I meant to say 50. I'm sorry.
What's going on with you? You okay? 50?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I might be having a stroke. I don't know.
No, well, I hope not.
Just don't say that.
47.
55. All right. This sports. John chases you. John Paxson.
Former Bull.
Yep.
65.
70.
65 exactly. Dr. Crane, you're up now. Ken Norton Jr.
80.
Former Oiler?
Ken Norton Jr.
I know, but is he a football player?
He played middle linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys when they won 2 Super Bowls.
That can okay.
Yes.
Sorry, I was young. Just asking. 62.
59. Chase, you're up. Calvin Johnson, receiver.
35.
38.
He's 40. Down to our last birthday. 4-2. Chase is on top. Dr. Crane, you go first. Kevin Durant.
38.
37.
37 exactly. Chase wins 6-2. It's all right. I'll take you out for some hot maca.
Yeah. That's a bad look. It really is.
You're the best, man.
Down, man.
Hey, it's okay. With that, real quick, let's get to the mashup. Welcome in, Chase and Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Hope you're having a great start to your day.
Because it's the most penalized team in the NFL. So what did you teach? You clearly didn't preach anything. They clearly weren't listening to you.
Team, I don't know. They all suck.
Team Pooh Bear won this summer, and they got a pool day.
You know, if Joey Wide right, it hit his 2 field goals. We'd had a 6-6 game in the fourth quarter.
Running around, gotcha, tag, you're it. Marco Polo, just nonsense. You won 3 football games on, like Kenny said, hopscotch and slap ass. That's not going to win games for you. It's not. Yeah, are you?
No, but somebody did tell me. Yeah, I know. I laughed at again. I'm like, when did I the first time? Broadcasters use it, singers use it to gargle whiskey or bourbon because it will help.
It's a sickness you want to have, baby.
Catch the strep. Well, you go do that, buddy. You go gargle all afternoon long and do that.
I hate saying this, but my fellow Titans fans, they're more frustrated than Billy Graham at the Playboy Mansion.
Hello, Kenny.
See y'all later.
How dare you, Kenny?
Good job, Dr. Crane. As always, that is going to do it for us today.
As we leave the show every time with our guys out there, if you are struggling, there is help available to you on your cell phone. You can always call 988. So you can call or text. Somebody's there for you. You need professional help, just go to the website, thegamenashville.com, click on the Chase and Big Joe show. We got you partnered up with Unity Psychiatric Care. More importantly, more than anything else, we need you here. And part of my success is I need to celebrate your success. And our world is a better place because you were here. If you're struggling, please reach out and talk to somebody. It could change your life. Please do that. Know that we love you. And more importantly, more than anything else in this world, God loves you.
Amen to that. Peace, love, rock and roll DVD from Circa, Kentucky. Coming up next on 102.5 The Game.